Let's give our student minister Reginald Muhammad a thunderous round of applause. Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Praise be to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank Allah for His mercy and His goodness, because before He judges a people, He first sends to them a warner. He first sends to them guidance among them to guide them out of the oncoming destruction or the oncoming chastisement of Allah. So we thank Him for Moses in the Torah, and we thank Him for Jesus in the Gospel, and we thank Allah for Muhammad in the final revelation of the Holy Quran. But brothers and sisters, I would be remiss, or I would be mistaken if I did not thank Allah, for He did for us what He did for no other people. He not sent a messenger after us. He came among us to find one in our midst, to make Him a messenger for us, to guide us back to the straight path of Allah. I thank Allah for coming and intervening in our affairs in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. I thank Him for raising among us that Georgia-born black man. The man that is described in the Bible as that little lamb, and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and making him that Christ that the world has been looking for.
That's right.
But none of this will be relevant for us, brothers and sisters, if they did not prepare that one in our midst. If the honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't see fit to leave one and to pour himself out in one to continue to teach, guide, and warn us up until the judgment of this present world, then we would be in total loss, brothers and sisters. So I thank Allah for the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. I'd like to greet you with the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum. You know, as I was pondering over some study, I ran across a chapter in the Bible, Romans. Y'all heard of the book of Romans? And it says, "But if the spirit of Him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, He that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by His Spirit that dwelleth in you." And I took that to mean that the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead, not the physical grave, but the mental and spiritual grave, that same one would use that Jesus to quicken our spirits, the same connection that we have to the Lord of the world.
Come on.
You ever tried to do something sneaky or something that you're not supposed to do, and you start getting hot flashes, you start feeling guilty? That's the self-accusing spirit in you. That is this connection to Allah that we all have, each and one of us have with Allah. That is the self-accusing spirit that we have. And every time we disobey that, we lose that connection with Allah. But every time we listen to that self-accusing spirit, we grow and we evolve and we build a stronger bond with our Lord. So, we are, you know, I'm talking about spirits. That's not part of my lecture, but as I was studying for this particular lecture, dealing with the champion that we got, I reflected over words of my dear Aunt Walla, the former sister captain of the city of Camden. She said that I had been fighting cancer for the past 9 months, but I would drop dead fighting for the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. So I want to deliver this word in that spirit. I want to drop dead fighting to help the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Come on.
Oh, come on. So as I began to study and prepare for this particular talk, after revisiting the time and what must be done, I came up with the title for my lecture. I intend to lay this out like a court case. Now, I'm no lawyer, neither am I a student of law, but I intend to defend what I say I believe.
Come on.
So, the title of my lecture today is, What Crime Did He Commit? So you have the plaintiff, the synagogue of Satan.
Come on.
Who have claimed that Farrakhan is an anti-Semite,
right?
A bigot, a hater.
That's what they say.
A racist. Now you have on the defendant, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, claims they have claimed to be that which they are not. And it's only telling the truth, uncovering and exposing the wickedness that they have, that they have practiced against the black man and woman of America, against the nations of the earth, and against humanity. And his authority to tell this truth is the great Mahdi, Allah in person, and his Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Other than that, he doesn't need any say, any authority, any permission, or anything else. So, in any court case, you have the plaintiff. If we don't know what a plaintiff is, a person who brings a case against another in a court of law. You have a defendant, a person or entity accused of a crime and criminal prosecution, or a person or entity against whom some type of civil relief is being sought against in a civil case. Now, I want us all to bear with me, and I want us all to listen carefully, because as I prepared for this lecture, I was at my dear sister Kayla house and our brother Shaka house, and I told them, I said, y'all can't talk to me. And I sat at the table for almost 8 hours preparing this lecture.
Come on.
And he said, wow, I never did that before. He said, I never actually saw somebody study that long. Now, just, I was entertaining myself, as I was preparing it, I was getting excited and laughing. And but that's what happens when you really study the Word, and really you get intrigued. Your belief is strengthened when you study the Word. Now, Farrakhan is a law-abiding citizen. He obeys the commandments of God. You know the 10 Commandments. What are they? He obeys every commandment and every law that governs this nation, as long as it does not conflict with his religion. He worships only one God. We're dealing with the 10 Commandments. He worships only one God. He doesn't worship idols. He doesn't use the Lord's name in vain. He remembers the Sabbath and keeps it holy. He honors thy mother and thy father. He hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't committed adultery. He doesn't steal. He doesn't bear false witness. He doesn't cover his neighbor's house, wife, or possessions. So dealing with all of that, if he hasn't broken any laws, if he hasn't broken any commandments of God, what is the crime that he commits? We got to deal with this. I'm going to lay this out for us today. Why are they bringing him up on these charges and false claims against the Honorable Louis Farrakhan? Why is what Farrakhan says so alarming to them? Why is it so offensive? Why is these so-called Jewish people so shaken and moved by his word? In the Holy Quran it says, nay, we hurl truth at falsehood, and lo, it knocks out his brains, and woe to you for what you describe. Now, a woe is a grievous distress, affliction, or trouble. So, they are in distress, they are in affliction, they are so shaken because the truth that comes from that servant of God knocks out the falsehood they had spread across the earth.
Come on.
It's like if you call yourself stealing supplies from work. And your co-workers start running their mouths.
Snitching in there.
Your position is compromised because the truth that they have against you.
Mm-hmm.
So if they start running their mouth, everything that you stand for is compromised now.
Mm-hmm.
So Farrakhan hasn't done anything wrong. Him telling the truth compromises their power, their rule, their dominion, and their control over, their power, their rule, and the people that they have under their control. This is why what he says is so shaken. This is why what he says is so powerful. This is why what he says compromise everything that they stand for. So, what do they do when somebody starts telling the truth? They start trumping up false accusations so they can ruin our man. Now let's just look at what's going on in the news right now. We all paying attention, whether it's on Facebook, CNN, 6 o'clock news, whatever. All they had to do is spread one thing about you in the news. All they got to do is say one thing. We don't do no investigation. We just say, oh, I heard such and such on the news, and that's it. It's the truth.
Right.
Because the news said it.
Right.
So, if we look at what they are doing to our brother Bill Cosby, they have completely destroyed the image and they have completely assassinated the character of Bill Cosby. All they did was put out one rumor in the media and we ran with it. We didn't even investigate what was going on, and we took it as the truth.
That's right.
How about somebody say you stole from Walmart? You know darn well you didn't do it.
Come on.
But since they put it in the news, everybody believe it. How harmful do you think that would? How do you think you would feel if somebody did that to you?
That's right.
We can't believe nothing that they say in the media. This is why we take what they say on as truth, and we don't do any further investigation. It's because we, like it says in the Holy Quran, we think they are our spiritual advisors. What's the saying? If a man won't treat you right, he ain't going to teach you right. So you mean to tell me you're going to take what these people are saying for surface value? I'll tell you why. Because you don't know who they are.
That's right. Go ahead.
We're going to deal with this today. Now, in the Holy Quran, in the 2nd surah, it says, and mix not up truth with falsehood, nor hide the truth while you know it. In that monumental book, our Savior has arrived. Do we all got that book?
Yes,
we should all have that book. If you don't, shame on you. Praise due to Allah. But we should all have that book. And our Savior has arrived on the 10th page in the chapter entitled The Hidden Truth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and I quote, hiding the truth is a very serious thing to do. It causes harm and disappointment, and causes one to be misled. It causes loss of property and life. It causes the loss of friendship, beloved ones, and loss of confidence and trust. In a court, it causes heavy penalties, someone's being sent to prison or to death for that which they are innocent. The greatest and gravest of all is the slave master's hiding the truth that will exalt its slave. So what is the truth that they have been hiding from us, that have kept us in bondage for so long? The Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, and I quote, and so, in this message, we hope to open up more deeply the revelation of the synagogue of Satan and those so-called Jews who say they are or who they are not. Now, the synagogue of Satan is comprised of Jews and Gentiles who are in rebellion against God, His statutes, His laws and commandments, His will and His way. And it is these so-called Jews who are giving a bad name to the righteous Jews who are practicing the teachings of Moses and the Israelite prophets, and all what they have been given from these prophets, that they have received, and they are trying their best to show gratitude to Almighty God for making them to have excelled the nations. Now, when you speak out against, if you say anything against the Jews or the so-called Jews, they start to label you as anti-Semite and all different things. You're a racist, you're a hater, and all different kind of things. Now, you might have a white person come up and, try to bash you for the truth that you preaching, but we gotta realize, y'all heard of the 85%, right?
Yes, sir.
That's not just talking about the black man. It's talking about all of those who does not have the knowledge of that 10%.
That's right.
The 5% are the ones that have the knowledge and are striving to live in a righteous manner.
That's right.
So we got to deal with this. You might have white people coming up against you saying, "Oh, you're a racist, you're a this and you're a that," but you got to realize they have no clue as to what the hell is going on either. So you can't get mad at them because we don't know or they don't know. So we got to deal with the brains of this operation.
That's right.
Come on.
So in part 20 of the time and what must be done, it's always good to hear Satan testify to his own filth and wickedness. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan quoted in the time of what must be done. According to Neil Gabler, a Jewish professor of University of California, who is a journalist, author, and political commentator, and co-host of the PBS Review show Sneak Previews, once stated, and he quoted, "What is amazing is the extent to which they succeeded in promulgating fiction throughout the world by making a shadow America, one which idealized every old glorifying Brahmite about the country. The Hollywood Jews created a powerful cluster of images," y'all following me?
Yes, sir.
"And ideas so powerful that in a sense they colonized the American imagination. Ultimately, American values come to be defined largely by movies that Jews made."
Come on.
We don't understand the gist of what is going on.
That's right.
We don't even understand the depth of what's going on. Every time the Honorable Louis Farrakhan speaks of Satan or the synagogue of Satan or our enemies, we just take it on surface value and don't even do no studying as to what he is saying so we can understand the fight that we are in.
That's right.
We don't have a clue as to what's going on today.
Go ahead.
The Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, and I quote, "What you mean, Shadow America? What do you mean offering the public an all-glorifying Brahmite? A Brahmite is a sedative. You know what a sedative is, right?
Yes,
something to put somebody to sleep.
Come on.
A sedative that is used to sedate people, make them less conscious, stupefy them, put them in a state where they are not in a state of mind to make an intelligent decision. This is what Hollywood has done according to Neil Gabler. So look at the wickedness. They don't even mind telling the truth. We don't even realize when the truth is right in our faces.
That's right.
They said that the Jews are in control of Hollywood.
Right.
And what they are doing and the images that they are portraying in these movies to help dumb us down, to help keep us asleep, so we won't recognize the truth when we see it right in our face.
Right.
This is why we can't understand the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, because we are so in tune with what the enemy has to give us and feed us through our television.
That's right. Go ahead, bro.
Didn't the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that one day we will be entertaining the devils in our living room? Didn't he say it? Oh, praise is due to Allah.
Welcome home.
In the book of Revelations, it says, "I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan." The same fight that Jesus had with this synagogue of Satan is the same fight that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is fighting today.
Right now.
And if you don't study the scripture or you don't listen to the man, you will never comprehend what is going on.
Yes, sir.
This same fight, these same enlightened ones, this Illuminati that everybody is obsessed with, this shadow government, this is the same fight that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is fighting. Thank you, sir. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, that claim to be Jews and are not, but they are liars. I will make them come fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. We got to understand what we are dealing with today. Have we been studying the past couple weeks of the time of what must be done?
Sir.
Because you can follow me better if you have. Haven't the Honorable Louis Farrakhan been discussing the anti-Semite? And will the real anti-Semite please stand up?
That's right. That's right.
This is why our study classes are so crucial and so important.
That's right.
We can't just come on a Sunday and think, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim, I got it all, I know what's going on. I believe in the minister. But until you study, until we become students, we can be good students. So our wonderful teacher, once we begin to study. Praise be to Allah. How many of us learn about what happened to the Jewish people in school? How many of us ever saw movies on Hitler or the Jewish Holocaust?
That's right.
Can I see a raise of hands? Because they show it in school.
That's right.
Yes, they do.
Now, they show about, you know, the ghettos and the Jewish gas chambers and the concentration camps and all. They make sure you know all of that history and all of what happened with them. But did you know that there was a black Holocaust?
Absolutely.
Did you know that there was a black Holocaust?
Absolutely. And they don't want you to call it that either.
That's right.
They don't want you to call it, that's right, they don't want you to call it a black Holocaust. But let's look at this. Nobody documented what happened to us. Nobody documented our Holocaust.
Go ahead.
You can't go back and watch movies and all. They might portray what happened, but they don't really touch the surface of the wickedness that was exercised on the black man and woman of America. And if you mention what happened to us, oh, y'all still talking about that? It happened so long ago.
That's what they said.
Big deal. Oh, come on, forget about that. But they want to keep but the Jewish suffer persecution. The Jews, and they want to keep reminding you of their suffering and their pain, but they want us to forget what happened to us. They say you don't know where you came from until you don't know where you're going until you know where you came from. And they want to keep us away from our story. They want to tell his story.
That's right. Go ahead. Teach on that.
The Jews feel entitled because of their persecution. They receive financial reparations because of it.
That's right.
They get money today.
That's right.
And in the interview, I heard them say they're going to get money for at least the next 60 years because of the Jewish Holocaust. They get reparations for what happened to them.
Well, we get.
If the Jews can receive reparations from Germany for a 12-year Holocaust, what should the Jews be paying black people for 400 plus years of slavery, bigotry, and mistreatment? What kind of reparations are owed to the black man and woman of America? This is why we have to be awakened to the time of what must be done and the man that is in our midst. Because they owe us big time.
Big time. Big time. Go ahead, brother.
Oh no, this is serious. You know, you have to say a little laughter because, you know, sometimes, you know, if you try to give a baby medicine is nasty. Let's keep it real. So you have to give them something sweet so they can receive the medicine better.
Come on.
So Jews, so-called Jews, were intimately involved in the destruction of the black nation. Many documents have been collected to highlight, you know, I just go over something to highlight what they did to put you and me in the condition that we are in.
Right.
In the world, the condition that the world is in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the synagogue of Satan.
Right.
We got to be acquainted. Like our recent study guide said, we have to become acquainted with God. We have to become acquainted with our enemy. If you don't know who your enemy is, you don't even know that you're being held captive.
That's right. You don't know you're in a fight.
But once the truth has been revealed to you, it's just like, duh, hello, we're being held captive, we're in bondage. It should be that clear, should be that evident. But since we are so blinded and so sedated and put to sleep, we can't see what's going on. Jews made several contracts for the transatlantic slave trade.
Come on.
Shipment of black Africans to the colonial settlements in the New World, or America, the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
Jews insured and financed slave ships and outfitted them with shackles.
Right.
And chains. We got to understand, you know, everybody wants to play innocent as to our destruction.
That's right.
In the Holy Quran it says, speaking of, and I believe in the second surah, when they fell into dispute, do you remember when you killed a man or when you slew a man and you fell into dispute as to who would take charge of the crime? Everybody took part in what happened to us.
Come on. Come on.
So we got to point out what's going on. We know that the white people, they was right there keeping us in line, keeping us slaves, but everybody else want to keep their hands hidden as to the part that they played in our destruction.
That's right.
It's just like if I rent a vehicle for somebody and it got crashed, oh, it's not my responsibility. You got darn right I'm responsible because I rented the vehicle that was driven.
That's right. Go ahead.
Everybody played the part in our destruction. Everybody played the part in our assassination. So everybody's going to take part in the destruction and in the judgment. Somebody got to answer for what was done to the black man and woman of America. In the New Testament it says, wherever the carcass is, so shall the eagles be gathered together. Well, a carcass is a remains, right? It's a remains of something that has lost life.
Yes, sir.
Or a dead body. That's what a carcass is. So, speaking of that, the Son of Man, meaning God in person, it says that at the coming of the Son of Man, wherever the carcass is, so shall the eagles be gathered together. What is that carcass that it's talking about? It is the remains of a once great nation of people. And they still picking at us, and they still bashing at us. But that great Son of Man, a lying person, has come to remove that carcass and to resurrect and awaken that carcass and put us back on top where we belong, brothers and sisters. Praise due to Allah. Oh, thank you. Look how generous. Praise be to Allah.
Some water for that fire.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. I know what I'm saying today might be a little harsh or a little heavy, but if Farrakhan is not telling the truth does not exist. If Farrakhan is not telling the truth, if what we got is not the truth does not exist.
Come on,
Take it or let it alone.
Come on.
Farrakhan is guiding us into all truth. Howbeit that when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. Before this day, before this time, you didn't have nobody else guiding us and revealing all of the truth that exists in the world. Jesus said, I have a lot of things that I can tell you, but you cannot bear it at this time.
That's right.
They were not prepared to handle the truth that Jesus was prepared to reveal. So he had to leave. So today we have a comforter among us.
Come on, come on.
Jews are the wholesalers of everything in the world.
That's right.
You think people could get these guns that we kill each other with, or the liquor that we go, you know, the bottles that we pop before we go to the club, or the weed that we roll up before we, you know, go
Not the weed.
get our snacks for our money?
Before we get the munchies.
No, but seriously,
It's from the earth, brother.
do you think that all of these things are going on and they don't know about it?
Come on.
They the ones that's bringing it in.
Come on.
They financed every war. Did y'all know that?
Yes, sir.
They financed every war, from the Civil War to the war in Iraq, and every war that's going on right now as we speak.
Yes, sir.
Did you know that a Jew financed Hitler?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And the Bush family.
Did we all know that?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That a Jew financed Hitler, a killer of the Jews? Now you tell me, who is the real anti-Semite?
That's right.
Bring it out, bring it out.
How you going to tell me that Louis Farrakhan is an anti-Semite? He didn't practice any wickedness against the Jews. You practice wickedness against yourself, and he's just revealing the truth of it. Now he's an anti-Semite. How you going to get mad at somebody for exposing something nasty that you did?
That's right.
Right.
I'm going to tell you this. I do not have any authority to take Satan on. But I do have the right to defend the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. And you better leave the Honorable Louis Farrakhan alone to tell the truth to his people. We backed by the same God that backs the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Come on.
You better believe it.
Come on. Bring your A game.
Let me drink some water before I can see. Before I fall out, her knees buckle.
Some water on that fire.
Wow. Y'all remember our brother Michael Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, Michael Jackson was a bad man, right?
Man, yes, sir.
Michael Jackson was a bad man.
Bad man.
You know, Michael Jackson was going through something, and he reached up to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
And, you know, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan gave him some guidance, and from that guidance he began to expose the way he feels in his music. So he didn't tell the Honorable Louis Farrakhan exactly who he was going through something with. He just, you know, told him, you know, I'm going through something. He just gave him guidance to get through his trial. And he began to release the way he felt in his music. You ever heard the song, They Don't Care About Us?
Yep.
We might know it from the, you know, maybe the Michael Jackson experience, and we know the dance move and all that.
Yeah, come on. Go ahead.
We might know it from the Wii game, but we didn't realize how deep and how profound our brother Michael Jackson was.
That's right.
He was definitely not a game. He was definitely not a joke. And he was much more than an entertainer. You know, they tried to make Michael Jackson out of this big joke and this big pedophile. They tried to destroy him in the media. didn't they?
Yes, sir.
They put out, just like they did with Bill Cosby, put out one rumor.
Right.
Trying to destroy him. But he kept persevering. The song goes, beat me, hate me, you can never break me.
Come on.
Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me.
Come on.
Jew me, sue me, everybody do me. Kick me, kike me, don't you black or white me. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
Come on. Come on.
Who is the they, Michael?
Come on.
Who is the they that you are talking about, Michael?
Come on.
It's the same they that the Honorable Lord Farrakhan is fighting against.
Right, right.
They worked hard to destroy Michael Jackson.
Yes, they did.
I'm tired of being the victim of hate. You're raping me of my pride, oh, for God's sake. I look to heaven to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free.
Set me free.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
That's right.
We don't understand the depth of what we are going through today. In my preparation of this particular lecture, I was completely overwhelmed by emotion because I was coming into a more depth understanding, a more clear realization of who our enemies are and the man that is fighting against our enemies. We got to pick up these books. And we got to listen to the man that is unveiling the truth in the book.
Right,
That's
right.
right.
It's right here what's going on. You ever saw the foreign movie? You know how you got to read the caption?
That's right.
We watching what's going on, but we can't understand it because we're too lazy to read the caption.
Gotta read the subtitles.
How much time I got left?
Go ahead, take your time. Take your time.
Take
Got
your
all
time.
night.
Y'all sure?
Got till tomorrow. Go ahead.
I don't want to keep y'all all day, man. You know, I was listening to an interview on YouTube with a man named James Webstrom. He was interviewing a rabbi named Abraham Finkelstein. And they were talking about lies that Jews told. In this particular excerpt of the talk, the interview, they were discussing the Holocaust. And
Listen.
they said, and I quote, Abraham Finkelstein said, and I quote, everybody knows that Jews never told a lie in the history of the world. However, whether it is 6 million or 600,000 or 60,000, it's just a number. So right there, they made it seem like lying wasn't even a big deal.
Just a number.
It's just a number, big deal. If it's 10 or it's only one, big deal. It's just a number. That's like me looking at all these people. Oh, is there only one or two of us in here?
Come on.
Why lie?
That's right. Tell the truth.
If it's not that big of a deal, just go ahead and tell the truth.
That's right.
The interviewer continued to say, it's just a number, but the thing I want to get to is, you know, the 1934 World Encyclopedia stated that there was only 3.5 million Jews in all of Europe.
Right.
Let's stop right there. We taught that what? Islam is what? Mathematics, and it can be proven at no limit of time.
That's right.
So, the interviewer said, how did 3.5 million Jews populate themselves to 6 million? This is the question I would like answered. So, Abraham continued to say, you know, the number, you know, numbers. What can I say about numbers? It's just the important thing is Jews have always been persecuted all throughout the history of the world, forever, and still are. The interviewer continued on to say, well, the reason they are persecuted is because they are thieves, robbers, and murderers.
Wow.
Just like it's stated in the book of John, 8:44, where it says, you are of your father the devil, and of the lust of your father that shall you do. So Abraham said, oh, that Bible stuff, oh, you know, how you wave your head like, big deal.
We wrote that too.
So the interviewer continued on to say, you're a lying Jew. You're a lying Jew is what you are. You're a lying Jew. And Abraham said, oh, you could say that, but even when we lie, we tell the truth. We got to understand what we're dealing with today, brothers and sisters. This man said that when Jewish people lie, they tell the truth. So it is okay for them to lie and to deceive the whole entire world and say that they are telling the truth. So when the Honorable Louis Farrakhan says they are liars, he is labeled as an anti-Semite. This is why we got to study to defend our man. We can't let nobody get off with lying like that and getting away with it. We don't even appreciate it when somebody short us on our money. You mean to tell me we allowing them to lie about their identity? They stole our identity. Did you know that?
Come on, T.
You know that they claim to be God's promised people? They claim to be the children of Israel. They claim to be the people of Abraham's promise, the seed of Abraham. Did you know that they lied about that?
Yes, sir.
That one thing that they lied about keeps us away from truly knowing who we are. This is why the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is so dangerous. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you cannot fathom the depth of Satan.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
All right, all right, all right. You are
right.
going to learn today.
Come on. Come on.
I figured I'd say, you know, since we all know what I'm talking about. Oh, man. Now, if we study the scriptures, they prove to us who the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is. If we just picked up our Bible and our Quran and studied them, as a matter of fact, this modern technology made it even easier for us. All you got to do is Google something, and it'll bring up a whole lot of different passages that'll be your starting point for study.
Right.
So it's no excuse for us to be walking around like ding-dongs not knowing nothing.
Uh-oh, not ding-dongs.
Man, we can't claim to be no students of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan or followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and be stupid. We are completely misrepresenting the teaching.
Right. Right.
What did the religious leaders charge Jesus of? Do we know? They charged Jesus of blasphemy and sedition. They charged him of this because he claimed to be the Son of God. But since they did not have the legal power to put him to death, they brought him before the Roman authorities to have him tried and executed. Now, if we understand the scripture, since we have been revealed and unveiled the true meaning of the scripture, we taught that the Roman authorities represent the government of America. Keep that in mind. Savior's Day 2012, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, and I quote, "Now, I want to talk to you and our president because now they are pushing President Obama to strike Iran, and quietly they're pushing him to destroy Farrakhan. They want our president to deal with me and Iran, and that would make the synagogue of Satan happy."
Happy, that's right.
Unquote. Now let's pause for 1 minute and look at the charge of anti-Semitism and what the charge leads to. Now, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution reads as follows. Congress, y'all listening to me here?
Come on.
Because this is the Constitution that governs the place where we live.
Come on.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people, peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, and I quote, "How does one go from the engaging in free speech that we assume is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution to finding oneself facing possibly criminal penalties?" The ADL, or the Anti-Defamation League, we got to understand. I'm sure you heard the Honorable Louis Farrakhan refer to them before. Abraham Foxman and people like that. We have to look up who these people are. We have to define definitions to words that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan tells us, so we can understand what he's talking about.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
So the Anti-Defamation League was founded in 1913 to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment for all. Are we receiving any of this so-called justice and fair treatment that they talking about?
No, sir.
I didn't think so. Now let's move along.
I think about it.
Keep in mind, this is information I got from their website. I'm not making it up. This is something I got from their website. Google the Anti-Defamation League and Abraham Foxman. You can find the same information that I'm telling you. Now we talk to research and investigate all things thoroughly, so we can validate what we believe, right?
Right, sure.
Now, the ADL fights anti-Semitism and all forms of bigotry, here and abroad, combats international terrorism. Are you talking about the same people that start the wars? They finance the wars. They stop international terrorism. That probes the roots of hatred, advocates before Congress, comes to the aid of victims of bigotry, develops educational programs, and serves as public resource for government, media, law enforcement, and the public, all towards the goal of countering and reducing hatred. We got to deal with this. These people claim to be against stopping hatred. They give educational programs to dumb us down. They serve as a public resource, or they help. They the ones that set up the laws for Congress, and they make them enforce them. We got to understand what we're dealing with these people. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan has described the shadow government, and we got to go back and study and parse that particular subject matter. The government, the media, law enforcement. This is all everything that sets up a nation or a government, right? Mm-hmm. But they got ties in all of it.
Come on.
How does that happen? Are we not the victims of all of these things that they're trying to protect people from?
Right.
The same stuff that they're trying to protect people from. Hatred, injustice. Basically, all they doing is getting their feelings hurt because somebody telling the truth, and we actually suffering pain and affliction.
Right, at their hands.
But that's okay. We're allowed to suffer. We're allowed to get shot down in the streets. We're allowed to be tried and just in their courts. But all they doing is getting their feelings hurt, and they trying to charge people with death penalties for telling the truth. What is a bigot? We got to define these words. A person who is intolerant towards those holding different opinions. So because I don't agree with what you're saying, I'm a bigot.
Right, right.
Because I don't agree with the falsehood that you're telling, now I'm a bigot. I hate people. I'm against you because I don't agree with your opinion. Just because the Honorable Louis Farrakhan holds a different opinion on what they see as for justice for all, we see it another way. They see it as justice, but we see it a completely different way. You're depriving justice to the entire human family. And Allah is not no longer going to tolerate it.
Come on.
You know, they are always lying on somebody.
No.
With the power of the media, you don't understand how powerful that is. All they got to do is say one thing
That's right.
about you, and everybody is going to run with
That's
it.
right.
That's right.
In the Holy Quran, in the 4th surah, it says, some of those who are Jews alter the words from their places.
That's right.
And say, we have heard and we disobey. It continues on to say, so for the iniquity of the Jews, we forbade them the good things which had been made lawful for them, and for their hindering many people from Allah's way. So because of the falsehood that they tell people, they hinder people from Allah's way.
Right.
The
Right.
falsehood that they tell against the Honorable Louis Farrakhan hinders people from
Right.
Allah's way.
Right.
Is he not Allah's way?
Yes.
Is he not the
Come on.
doorway to Allah? Is he
Yeah.
not that direct connection to the Lord of the world?
Come on.
Just bear with me, brothers and sisters. I'm coming to a close soon. We all here? It's not too heavy for us, right?
No.
Come on, praise due to
Come on.
Allah. Now, they have accused the Honorable Louis Farrakhan for calling Judaism a gutter religion. He never called Judaism a gutter religion.
Right.
Come on.
Now, if you're going to quote somebody, you're going to quote the man, make sure you quote him correctly.
That's right.
Don't just be saying he said something or paraphrasing the man of God's words.
Come on.
And in proper context.
He said, and I quote, that state called Israel has not had any peace in 40 years. And she will not have any peace. She can't have any peace where there's lying and stealing and murder and using God's name as a shield for your dirty religion.
Come on. Come on.
Religion
That's
is not
exactly right. That's right.
what you profess. Your religion is what you practice.
That's right.
Right?
Yes,
That's right.
sir.
So just because I say I'm Muslim, but I don't pray or I don't fast or I don't study or I don't give in charity, you just got a title, really.
That's right.
That's all it is. If you're not carrying anything into practice, you're just claiming a title. Now, a lot of people want to be black. Look at, what's her name? Iggy and all of the rest of them. Trying to rap.
Come on. You did it.
Man, oh man.
Soul sisters.
They a trick. Many people want to be black until it's time to really be black. You can always claim a title, but until it's really time to show forth what you really are, then she can't show forth that, she don't really got no soul.
Say it ain't so.
Right?
Come on, enough for you.
Her best hit was I'm So Fancy, and that was maybe a month,
Old news.
almost a one-hit wonder. Now, you're not going to be able to tell me that you love the Lord and you sick your police dog on me. You're not going to be able to tell me or say to me, Salaam alaikum, I got that workout. You're not going to be able to wish peace on me and offer me death. We got to understand what's going on, and we got to understand this kind of thing. Whether it be Muslim, Christian, or Jew, we all have fallen short to God's glory. And we use religion to protect our behinds. But we are not going to get away with using Allah's name to shield our dirty practice any longer. This is the day of the Lord, and trust me, He's not going to allow us to keep making mistakes and keep on practicing wickedness in His name, saying that we follow that which we are not practicing. Chastisement is near, brothers and sisters. I'm coming to a close, beloved. Now, in the book of John, in the 18th and 19th chapters, I want us to mark that down and go home and study those chapters, because there is not enough time here today to really go in detail every scripture that is in these two books of John, 18th and 19th chapter. Now, in those chapters it describes Jesus being taken to court, how the Roman authorities did not see the crime he committed, how the Jews wanted to crucify him, and the crime he was accused of. In the 2 Thessalonians it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there first be a falling away, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Farrakhan and the charge of anti-Semitism. Is he guilty or are you guilty, Satan? Are y'all following this court case that I'm laying out? Because we're going to determine who's guilty and who's going to be sentenced to death by the real judge, Allah in person.
That's right.
The time and what must be done. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, it begins with someone, anyone, who holds a controversial view and speaks or writes about it in the public. Now, controversial means a contrary from the popular version of the truth. So what everybody else believes the truth is, this totally contradicts what they already believe as the truth. He continues on to say, instead of engaging in honest and public dialogue and debate about the issue that the person raises, as is called for and encouraged in the United States Constitution, private interest groups as the Anti-Defamation League or the Southern Poverty Law Center, I want y'all to look them up. Start with the labeling, he's a hate teacher with a hateful message, and then the group he belongs to, if they don't repudiate the spokesperson fast enough, they get called a hate group that promotes intolerance. They don't have to prove it. All they have to do is say it over and over again. And their brethren in the media starts the drum beats. The drum beats get amplified by their brothers in the media who control the media, and if the person does not apologize after that, or if the person does not apologize quick enough after they are exposed in the media, then they start to pick away at their supporters. And those who defend that person, if they are not strong enough, listen to what I'm saying, because this applies to us. If they are not strong enough to stand up to the slander, they begin to fall away and distance themselves, and some may even start repudiating and apologizing for their former friend and ally. If they come after our man and pressure is laid on us, are we going to sell him out?
No.
Sound like we unsure. No, if pressure is laid on us and they come after the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, are we going to sell him out?
No, sir.
Are we who follow behind the bravest black man on the planet going to punk out and become weak and spineless cowards after hearing the truth? Are we going to start apologizing after accepting the truth? Farrakhan is innocent of all false charges against him, and we better be that grand jury to come to his defense. We better come to the defense of the great defender of the people. They're coming for the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. He already warned us. But we better be prepared. We better not punk out. We better not become cowards and say, oh, we don't know Louis Farrakhan. Like the disciples denied him.
Come on.
We better not punk out. I hope Allah kill us dead if we punk out and try on the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Public Enemy said, fight the power. Let me hear you say it. Fight the power. Fight the power. Let me hear you say, fight the power.
power that
Fight the
be.
power
We should fight in the name of Allah.